Good day, everyone. Today we will be discussing the osseous system and joints. If you're watching us for the first time, make sure to subscribe and enable the bell icon for future notifications. In this lecture, we will first understand the structure, composition, and functions of the skeleton. Then we will move on to joints, their classification, types of movements, and common joint disorders. This topic is fundamental for students of anatomy, physiology, nursing, physiotherapy, and other health sciences. The osseous system, also known as the skeletal system, is the framework of the human body. It is composed primarily of bones and cartilage. An adult human skeleton contains 206 bones. In newborns, the number is higher because some bones fuse together during growth. The skeletal system is not just a rigid structure. It is living tissue that grows, repairs, and constantly remodels itself. It plays a crucial role in support, protection, movement, blood formation, and mineral storage. The human skeleton is divided into two major parts: the axial skeleton, the appendicular skeleton. This division helps us understand the structure and functional organization of the skeletal system. The axial skeleton forms the central axis of the body, while the appendicular skeleton forms the limbs and girdles. The axial skeleton consists of 80 bones and forms the central vertical axis of the body. It includes the skull, the vertebral column, the ribs, the sternum. The skull protects the brain. The vertebral column protects the spinal cord and supports the head and trunk. The rib cage protects vital organs such as the heart and lungs. The main function of the axial skeleton is protection and support. The appendicular skeleton consists of 126 bones. It includes the pectoral girdle, shoulder bones, upper limbs, pelvic girdle, lower limbs. The appendicular skeleton is responsible mainly for movement and locomotion. It allows us to walk, run, grasp objects, and perform daily activities. Unlike the axial skeleton, which is mainly protective, the appendicular skeleton is primarily involved in mobility. Let us now examine the structure of a typical long bone. A long bone consists of diaphysis, the shaft, epiphysis, the ends, periosteum, outer covering medullary cavity, central cavity containing marrow. There are two types of bone tissue: compact bone, which is dense and strong, spongy bone, which is porous and lighter. Compact bone provides strength and protection, while spongy bone reduces weight and contains bone marrow. Bone is a living connective tissue composed of cells and matrix. There are three main types of bone cells: osteoblasts, responsible for bone formation; osteocytes, mature bone cells that maintain bone tissue; osteoclasts, responsible for bone resorption. The bone matrix has two components: organic part, mainly collagen fibers, providing flexibility; inorganic part, calcium phosphate salts, providing hardness. Bone marrow is found inside bones. Red marrow produces blood cells. Yellow marrow stores fat. This composition gives bone both strength and slight flexibility. The skeletal system performs several essential functions. Support, provides framework for the body protection, protects vital organs' movement. Bones act as levers for muscles, mineral storage, especially calcium and phosphorus hematopoiesis. Blood cell formation in red marrow fat storage. Yellow marrow stores lipids. Without the skeletal system, the body would not maintain shape or function properly. A joint, also known as an articulation, is the point where two or more bones meet. Joints allow movement and flexibility while maintaining stability. Without joints, bones would be rigidly fixed and movement would not be possible. Joints vary in structure and mobility depending on their location and function. Structurally, joints are classified into three types: fibrous joints, bones connected by fibrous tissue, no cavity, immovable. Example: sutures of the skull. Cartilaginous joints, bones connected by cartilage, slightly movable. Example: intervertebral discs, synovial joints, bones separated by a fluid-filled cavity, freely movable. Example: knee joint. Synovial joints are the most common and allow maximum mobility. Functionally, joints are classified based on their movement: synarthrosis, immovable joints, amphiarthrosis, slightly movable joints, diarthrosis, freely movable joints. Most synovial joints fall under diarthrosis because they allow free movement. There are several types of synovial joints based on shape and movement. Hinge joint, movement in one plane, like the elbow ball and socket joint. Movement in all directions, like the hip pivot joint. Rotational movement, like atlas and axis, saddle joint. Movement in two planes, like thumb gliding joint. Sliding movement, like wrist bones. Each type is adapted for specific movements. Now let us understand different types of movements. Flexion decreases the angle between bones. Extension increases the angle. Abduction, movement away from midline adduction. Movement toward midline rotation. Turning around an axis. Circumduction, circular movement combining several motions. These movements are essential for daily activities and physical performance. Some common joint disorders include arthritis, inflammation of a joint, osteoarthritis, degeneration of joint cartilage, rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune inflammatory joint disease, gout, inflammation due to uric acid crystal deposition, dislocation, displacement of bones from a joint sprain, stretching or tearing of ligaments. These disorders can cause pain, swelling, and restricted movement. To summarize today's lecture, the osseous system forms a structural framework of the body. It consists of axial and appendicular divisions. Bones are living tissues composed of specialized cells and mineral matrix. Joints connect bones and allow movement. Joint health is crucial for mobility and overall quality of life. Understanding the skeletal system is fundamental for medical and health science education. And here we are wrapping up. We can see you in next video. Thank you.